Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. So I cannot help but feeling that we're being conditioned for something big to come. It doesn't take an Einstein to really see what's currently happening in the world and to really work things out and to see where the things are heading. So if you're not aware guys, but the word conditioning, I mean, it's basically training your body or mind to react a certain way after the continuous exposure. So if your mind or your body exposed to constantly the same thing, that your body or the mind will react to the things in a different matter, in an instance, a better controlled matter. This is, of course, what they expect from us. So we're talking about the conditioning, and just have a look, guys, at the movies. Okay, let's go back 50 years ago, 70 years ago, the movies. And the movies were about, say, the futuristic things. And of course, I'm not just talking about the things they said we're going to be eating or things that we're going to be driving, which are really close, but talking about things that have been happening or things that have been predicted to happen in those movies then. And a lot of you probably will understand and agree that a lot of information that's fed to us through the media, and of course including the films and the programs, is all there what we've been conditioned for the future. So if you find a loads of older films that talked about the progression of the way that we are going as a nation, as people, as a world, say by 2020, 2025, you find quite a lot of similarities. In fact, you probably look at this and thinking, actually, this is what they said, and to be fair, it's actually what's currently happening. So this is what I feel is currently happening right now. We're talking about the news. Okay, fine. There's loads and loads of information, constant bombardment of the current affairs. Okay, and it's understandable. Things are happening. It's been going on for a very long time. Things are escalating. And there's a lot of talks that are, unpleasant talks, especially for us as a people that living on the receiving end that might not want to comprehend. Because, well, to be fair, if this is to happen, then it's going to be a pretty tough, if I can call it that. But of course, there are different words to describe what's going to be happening. But nonetheless, right, it's all happening, it's all there, and we're constantly fed that. See, now also have a look at not the media, but let's have a look at the films, right, programs. There is suddenly a massive influx of TV programs, films, everything that's talking to us, I'm going to call it this way, about what's happened if. And of course, there are many. We're talking about the power outages, there's some sort of the pandemic stuff, there's the global civil wars and all sorts. There's literally a film or more than one film for every single scenario. Okay, and they had those films before. Again, there are some films that were about 5 years pre-2020 that clearly showed what happened, and they are out there. So my point is, there is loads and loads of films out now that are telling us to what would be happening. So the point is, when we're talking about conditioning, guys, when we are constantly looking at those films, we're getting ourselves prepared mentally, not intentionally, not unintentionally. It's just how our bodies work. Okay, when things that happen, things are fed upon us, or things you're watching, and the more you watch something, the more your body or mind understands this as a normality. So if you first time watched a horror movie, for example, of any kind, they'd be like, whoa, I can't imagine this happening, this is pretty scary. But if you start watching the movies on a constant basis, you watch the same sort of scary movies, your body will be conditioned to that horror movies, and you'll start to understand that a little bit better or a bit more calmer. So if you did see, say, a vampire, just saying, you'll be more prepared for it. Okay, I do hope this makes sense. So the point is to you now, after we've seen all these programs, all these movies about the end of the world, civil unrest, that kind of thing, we and our minds are getting prepared and conditioned to what is happening. At the same time, also, we're looking at the recent thing about the preparedness. The government all over the NATO countries everywhere are preparing people for things. And we're talking about the government latest preparedness website that they launched, the prepare thing, where they're telling people to be prepared for all sorts of eventualities. And they're pushing this with a narrative, or preparing this, we need this, and we need, iodine tablets and that kind of thing. And then they secretly say, well, but this is just for the sake of natural disasters. So they plant the seed of what they want you to be conditioned for, but then they kind of just sugarcoat this and think, well, actually, we're going to be preparing for, for natural disasters. And I totally understand. Preparedness covers all sorts. But if you just look at those little clues, they are currently happening, you understand what I'm talking about. The same things, there's loads of statements coming out from many important people. And the change of language, right, to what people are using, if you understand what they're saying. It's gone from, you know, preparing for unlikely conflict or something like this to suddenly now quoting, we're going to be defending our country or defending our livelihood. Things that change, and you can see slowly and slowly things are changing. The way they're approaching things are changing. See, now there is already slight other changes that, again, because they're done ever so slightly, nobody questions that. And again, if you don't question that, that means you're becoming accustomed or conditioned to the fact. So there are loads of drills. Apparently many schools are doing drills, preparedness drills for children, be it to do with the conflict where kids need to go and hide somewhere. It happens quite a lot. Talking about the original, when they talk about specific shortages, where they do make some shortages up in the news, and then creates a micro panic where people then go out and stock up on certain foods. When they're talking about shortages of energy, again, alarm bells ringing when they're talking about, well, depending on what's going to be happening, there's going to be shortages of electricity. All those little things, all those little wheels are already in motion. So now as we go, as we react to the things, as we accept the normality of our kids being told that we need to hide, you know, in a bunker or somewhere under the school or in a specific room, as we accept the fact that everybody still runs to the supermarkets to stock up on some food in case of the food shortages or something else. So see, people need to be prepared for what's coming, whether there's conflict or something else. This is what they want, because then it will reduce the backlash on what's currently happening. Because if suddenly things happened, okay, then there will be a lot of panic, a lot of backlash. You can see what I'm getting with that. But over the time, okay, over the months or maybe years, however long it's going to be taking, you drip fed the little things, the little bits, when they suddenly tell you about preparing for this and they change the tone. So gradually, tone will change. Gradually, we will start to react to this differently and more prepared. Okay, so there we are, guys. I just wanted to get this, and I have promised some of you guys are going to be making that video talking about that. Just pay attention to the change and how things are moving into that direction. And you think, if you go back to say a couple of years back at least, how they talked about things then and how they're talking about it now. And I know the situation has changed, but just have a look for the little changes to understand that every single bit that's happened, every single bit's out there directed a specific way, is there to make us accept and condition us for what it is coming. Of course, guys, this is not the point for panic, because we don't know what's going to be happening. We don't know when it's going to be happening, if at all. But the point is, of course, guys, is the point of this channel, is to make sure that we're aware of what's happening, understanding what's happening, and try to prepare the best as we can without panic. And this is, guys, of course, if you are watching the channel, if you haven't, I'm running the 1 week 1 prep series. Is basically where we're targeting 1 week emergency preparedness, 1 week at a time. So we cover everything we need to know for basic everyday preparedness for an average people. So anyway, guys, I do hope you have enjoyed this video, and I do hope it does make sense to you. Don't forget, thumbs up is very important. Subscribe if you're not a subscriber, and I shall see you in the next video.